Now, more on the incredible story that a teen from Oldham who has been missing for 6 years has been found in France. Alex Batty disappeared with his mother and grandfather after they said they wanted to live an alternative lifestyle and didn't want him to go to school.
Police are looking for Alex's mother and grandfather. There's some question about whether the community they were living in is akin to a cult. Well, joining us now is cult recovery expert and himself a former member of such a community, Richard Turner. Richard, lovely to see you this morning. Thank you very much indeed for joining us. What was your experience?
What was my experience? I joined the cult group later on in life. It was a high control Christian Pentecostal church. So it's prosperity teaching, lots of teachings about money and giving money to the leader. And they slowly groomed me and started taking control of my life.
And when you joined this group, you obviously got immersed. What happened next to you? You obviously finally left. How did you leave? And what happened when you left?
I left because effectively I had a bit of a breakdown. Slowly over time, they were gaslighting me. I was beginning to feel less and less in control of my life. What they were saying didn't match what they were doing, and effectively I just couldn't physically be there anymore. And I just couldn't cope with being in the environment. So I left because I just couldn't psychologically and physically be involved with them.
Now, I described you as a cult recovery expert. How does recovery work? Because I presume leaving is just the first step on quite a long journey after being a member of a group like this.
So basically, if someone has been in a cult, they often the control mechanisms make you believe that you're the problem, that you're a bad person, that you're not good enough. And you're often chasing the carrot on the stick to get that acceptance from the leader. And because you've been isolated from everybody else, and you've not experienced much unconditional love. Everything is very conditional. So when you leave, a big part of the recovery is learning about cult psychology and learning about how that was done to you, because effectively you are carrying the shame of the cult leader. So what you need to do is learn how that was done to you so you can put the shame back on the leader where it belongs, and start activating your critical thinking and learning who you are again, because you start to lose your identity when you've been in a cult.
And Sarah called you a cult recovery expert. This is a very strange story indeed. Is this kind of thing common, being taken into a cult, as you said, that conditional love being offered?
It's very common in this country. It's far more common than people realise. And unfortunately, the term cult often can be quite unhelpful because people think that they're rare and they've only heard very extreme examples of it. But when I talk about a cult, I see it as a psychological system of coercive control. And that psychological system can manifest itself in lots of different environments, not just in extreme religious communities. So there are thousands of children in this country at the moment who are growing up in cult groups, deprived of important developmental experiences. And it's happening right on our doorsteps all across the country.
Yeah, and actually we don't know very much as yet about exactly what's happened to Alex Batty over the past 6 years, but described as a spiritual community. And his grandmother had talked about the fact that his mother and grandfather didn't want him to be in mainstream education. So it resonated there when you talked, Richard, about being deprived of what you might expect for a young person at that age.
Yes. One of the challenges for children in cults is the cult leader is like the engine, and they're narcissistic and controlling, and often children are not as much used to them, so they're often pushed into growing up too quickly, deprived of fun and experiences that would benefit them, because the leader, it's not much use to the leader, because the leader is seeing people as resources. So sadly, children who grow up in cults or have been around cults miss out on important experiences because of the way the leader controls them. Everything in a cult on the very extreme end is designed to control and to exploit. And unfortunately, children have a particularly difficult experience. Plus, they don't get a chance to develop their own individual identity, because this is happening when they're younger, when lots of us are learning who we are and how the world works and what we believe about things and things like that. But because they're deprived of that, they struggle to develop a sense of who they really are, and effectively they become the cult of.
Richard, absolutely fascinating to talk to you. Thank you very much indeed. That's Richard Turner there.